So by the time you see these videos, E3 will have come and gone.
Yeah, it was quick.
And in case you didn't notice, there wasn't anything much to notice.
Yeah, basically everything was already announced, or there were some surprises, a few.
Yeah, there's also the big focus of the Wii U. There were some games from some games to the Vita that weren't really discussed.
Yeah, they were kind of hidden.
There's kind of some big major announcements here and there, but in reality, it focused almost mostly on 2012 and some 2013.
There were some announcements for 2013,
but very little.
A lot of people were scared to talk about next year because next year we will see the new consoles
really get into
from both Microsoft and Sony. So I'm thinking a lot of companies are like, well, we don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet.
Yeah,
and we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. But we're going to start with this 6 videos of us describing every single major conference that happened. We're going to start with this one, which is GameTrailersTV, where they had the pre-3 video and Konami's pre-3 press event video thing. Mabob.
Yep,
Mabob is a word. I copyrighted it. Don't you worry. So we're going to first start off with what is shown at the GameTrailersTV event.
Yes.
The first thing was Star Wars 1313.
Mm-hmm.
It essentially takes place in the planet territory of 1313. It's an
Yes.
underground world, and also you are a bounty hunter.
Correct.
Now, I will admit that even after this, we got up to this video almost a whole week later, I have not actually searched for Star Wars 1313 information or anything of that nature.
I saw some
animated GIFs that were posted on various locations, and it looked beautiful, brilliant. That might be next gen, you might say, but it's definitely a PC game. Well, you know that much.
Yeah. They don't talk about who the actual main character is.
Yeah, and I think it's either Boba Fett or some relative of him,
or someone from the past.
Who was like related to Jango Fett, or something of that nature. Mandalore the Mandalorian. Anyway, after that we had the Guardians of Middle Earth CG trailer.
Yes.
Game Trailer is notorious for these sort of things, but. It's essentially going to be a Dota game, DOTA game. It's essentially you play as one of the heads of Middle Earth. You can play as Gollum, or you can play as Gandalf, and you play that character around a group of other characters fighting each other. We didn't know much from the trailer. The trailer was just good versus evil, and then that was it. It wasn't that.
Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2.
Hold the phone. We'll talk about that when we get to the Konami part, the second half of this video. Dishonored.
Looked a little like Half-Life, too.
Okay, first of all, it's Drunken Sailor.
Yeah.
Is what we've heard. What to do with the Drunken Sailor? Great song. Odd, because really wasn't much sailors happening. And there was a plague. It's semi-Victorian, but with some high-tech stuff. It reminded me a lot of it had the stealth of the Chronicles of Riddick almost. You had to jump on, stab people in the face, which they emphasized a lot in the trailer.
Yeah, and slash people's throats. There was a lot of blood and gore.
Yeah.
They really want to emphasize that this is violent.
In fact, this E3 is wrought with violence, but that's another topic to get to as we get to it. But, Dishonored, we're already there. But the other thing is that there's a plague, so people are dead on the streets, they're being piled up, there's robots that remind me of Half-Life.
That's what I was...
Half-Life 2, specifically.
Your girl gets stabbed or something. You killed her. I can't figure this out.
And of course, then you see plasmids. So I'm seeing it being a conglomeration of a lot of first-person shooter tropes. But there could be a little bit of originality in there. I like the mask thing, to make it Victorian, or that style. Might not be my thing per se. I'm not that much into just focusing on knife stabbing.
That was the big gist of it, was stabbing.
Yeah.
So I think maybe more close quarter combat.
It looked nice. My biggest issue I had with the game was that the trailer was going on a bit long.
Yeah,
it felt like it was a 5-minute trailer.
It just ran on, and that song just got more and more repetitive as it went.
Yeah, which is a shame because it's a really good song. Then with Tomb Raider, a trailer from Tomb Raider that began looking exactly like the stuff we saw a year ago.
Yes. There was some new stuff. They said that they actually had a longer trailer on their website. I did manage to get a peek at that. Mm-hmm. It just shows more let's hurt people.
Yeah, that's one thing. We had. There's a demo we get to at another conference, but the trailer itself had a lot of moments where she was literally being beaten up. She was almost raped
twice.
Her friend gets kidnapped.
Her friend gets found killed.
And another friend. I think
at the very beginning.
Yeah. And then you have she's like, I can't die. Oh, I can do this.
You're Croft. You can do it.
I don't understand. I mean, I can understand someone having a nervous breakdown, but the story led to her to have the entire trailer. She was literally having a panic attack. You think after the first panic attack, you get used to it.
It was just really. Sometimes I feel kind of dirty watching that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's GT.
That was Game Trailers TV.
It was a nice introduction. You know, it got everyone excited. Okay, cool. I can't wait to see what other things we'll see at E3.
Well, then came shortly after that, like the same day.
Actually, I think right after.
Konami they didn't have anything. They released it, a video focusing on their pre-3 content, and unfortunately, it is also quite sparse.
Usually, what happened? They usually have a conference.
Well, they had a conference 2 years ago,
and it was so
good. It was so bad. It was good. It was bad. It was so good.
And so, I guess Konami said, you know what, we can't risk this again. And for the last 2 years, they've done pre-recorded videos, and they've both been pretty mediocre.
Yeah, in reality, nothing really new came out of this conference.
The only one good thing about it was the Mega 64 thing.
Mega 64 hit it out of the park yet again. Jehuti will do kids' parties. So we started the social studio. They wanted to hype up their new social studio. The company made Frogger Pinball and other Facebook games from Konami.
Do we really need to know about this stuff?
This is stuff that we didn't even need to care about.
This is like, when I saw it, I'm like, this is big news. They acted like it was a huge thing.
It wasn't even new announcements. It was literally, we've just released these games, have fun. It was literally a commercial for their games. Following that, PES 2013, they talked about it for like 5-6 minutes straight.
It was a really big thing.
They emphasized quite a bit about what they added to it. They even had some football players, I should say football for the international people out there. They were talking about, hyping up the game and whatnot. But, if you're a soccer/football fan, there you go. And then they mentioned Zone of the Enders HD collection happening.
Yeah. They went into detail about how they were remodeling the textures and that they were also adding a new CG 3D cutscene thing.
It looks really good.
It also looks like they redid all the animated characters and everything.
They high-res. They actually touched up the animated sections from the looks of the clips that we saw there.
Yeah.
I would say it's definitely looking good. I only played the first one when it was about a young kid who doesn't know what the heck's going on. And it was a pretty good
everyone was
game.
Expecting a new Zone of Enders because the way they're advertising it, but this looks like they're just going to get the HD collection out there. Maybe if it does well, to move forward.
There is actually a project he's working on right now, which gives like a look at maybe a potential sequel to Zone of Enders, but Zone of the Enders, and they're like,
why didn't they talk about that?
They haven't. Well, because the game is still in preliminaries. They don't even know what they're going to do with it. It's pretty much like they said, well, I want to make the game, so we're going to talk about it, but we might not even make a game out of it, so whatever that means.
And then we move on to Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. This probably was the most action-packed game of the show, and it's not even made by Konami.
No, it's made by Platinum Games. Now, the game has a lot of blood and gore.
Well, it's not blood.
It's oil, right?
It's red oil. Red like blood.
Yeah. So you have that go for it. Really dynamic cutting abilities.
The best part was when they cut the helicopter blades off in mid-flight.
Yeah.
That was cool. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that's going to be at this game is you can really choose to cut through things any way you want, and that is a selling point.
Yeah, so that looked good. We'll have to try it out whenever we see it. And also, when you get a demo for Metal Gear Rising is in Zone of the Enders HD collection.
Which doesn't really make sense, but I guess
it's Kojima, Tony. Does it have to make sense?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, and then we have the Castlevania games, which they like openly said, and now for a surprise. Yes, this is not...
And they showed Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. It was kind of sad because only about 15 minutes ago, maybe 20 minutes ago, it was announced already on GTTV.
Yeah, it was, before even that happened, there was a teaser trailer.
No, that was after.
It was?
Yes, it was after.
Oh, well then I don't know why I wrote it incorrectly here.
But it was, basically, it was a CG trailer showing Gabriel from the first Lords of Shadow walking through a deserted gothic castle with some candles, and opens the door, and there's an army, and he jumps down, he grows with red powers and magic, and he starts killing them all, and then he sucks the life out of one guy.
To fight a golem that looks like a castle.
It turns into a giant, hawk or something.
Yeah, and then it ends with Alucard showing up.
Yeah, a guy with white hair, we assume is Alucard.
And then we see a teaser trailer for what we assume to be Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirrors of Fate.
Which is a 3DS title.
It's a 3DS game. No footage was shown at this event, it was just simply a teaser
And actually
trailer.
people asked them afterwards about Lords of Shadow 2, and they said, actually, we don't have any gameplay footage for it.
So that's a 2013 game, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So.
I believe so. Now, one thing I have to add is that game, rumors, what happened at the end of last year was they showed a teaser for Contra.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, where's Contra? Well, Contra was made by Mercury Steam, the same people behind Castlevania.
Mercury Steam, yeah.
Or Steam? Was it Steam?
Mercury Steam.
So basically, I think what happened was they were working on Contra, and then Konami said no, make another Castlevania game. And because it was cut, because of the way it was cut up, they were making the DS game, and now they're making the.
There was actually a rumor that they were making a 3DS Contra game. It could be that the same team that made Lords of Shadow, Mirror of Fate, was actually the team that made Contra, but got shifted to Contra, from Contra after they're like, well, the 3DS isn't doing superbly. Maybe we should hold back on that just now. And people are asking for a 2D side-scrolling Castlevania anyways, so let's do it.
And Iga's not involved, which is a sad point.
Rest in peace, Iga. Anyway, that's it for this video clip. Technically, this video should have been up much earlier, but I wanted to have this all done in one go. So basically, the GT trailer was a good introduction, and Konami's didn't announce anything new and kind of ran long in some spots. In reality, the only real thing we got was more footage of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and
which was good,
and PES 2013,
and some news about Zone Vendors.
Yeah, and the actual official announcement of a 3DS Castlevania game, which we had gotten announced already by Nintendo Power. So
whatever.
Konami, you need to actually make announcements that are surprises when they're actually surprises. So moving on.